This is the #1 fastest way to burn body fat, and it's scientifically proven.
Lose up to 30 pounds in 60 to 90 days. But the best part? You can eat a burger every day sustainably.
These are all my clients, and I've done this myself twice, and at the end, you'll know exactly how to light the torch and burn fat fast. Let's not waste time and divide straight into what I call the 3-step automatic rules of fat loss. If you're over 40 and you're struggling to lose fat, I have an in case of emergency break glass solution for you with an 89% success rate. So just watch till the end. Now, the first step is wild. It's called the secret Japanese walking technique. When I was in Japan and digging into why the Japanese are so lean, they're 6 times leaner than the British, 5 times leaner than the Germans, and 10 times leaner than the Americans. I stumbled on one of their best kept secrets. It's called the Japanese walking technique, or interval walking training, IWT. It's like a fat burning cheat code, and it's backed by science, and it's gonna change the way you look at cardio. This is exactly how it works. Instead of just getting your steps in a regular pace, like you're stuck in a slow motion movie, you have to mix it up. For 3 minutes, you walk briskly. Think 70 to 85% of your max heart rate, where you can talk, but holding a full conversation would be a stretch. Then you dial it down to a more comfortable stroll for the next 3 minutes, like you're window shopping on a sunny day. Repeat the cycle 5 times and voila, you've got a 30-minute workout. No gym, no fancy gear, just you and a solid pair of kicks. Now, let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets even wilder. You know how I always say 10 minutes of walking gets you 1,000 steps. So in 30 minutes, you'd probably hit around 3,000 steps, right? But with interval walking training, it's a whole different game. During those 3-minute brisk walks, you're racking up about 600 steps. Then in the 3-minute slow walks, you're getting 300 steps. That's 900 steps every 6 minutes. Do that 5 times and you're looking at around 4,500 steps in 30 minutes compared to the 3,000. So you get a 50% increase in your step count from what you'd have just gotten from regular walking. Isn't that insane? So you might be asking, Dr. Mike, why does this work so well with getting you lean? Studies done at the Shinsu University in Japan in 2007 showed that interval walking training can boost your VO2 max, your body's ability to use oxygen, by 10 to 15% in just 4 to 5 months. And in case you didn't know, the more you improve your VO2 max, the longer you live. That's upgrading your engine to being a more fat-burning efficient machine, even when you're Netflix and chilling. What's even crazier, it's shown to have a 3 times improvement in your blood pressure and significant improvement in your blood sugar control, especially for my pre-diabetics and type 2 diabetics. And get this, it shrinks your waist by up to 6 centimeters. That's over 2 inches, and it boosts your leg strength by 13 to 17% in 5 months. That's just not fat loss. That's a stronger, that's a leaner you. And think of it like this. Regular walking is like cruising down the highway at steady speed. Smooth, you're not really pushing your limits. With interval walking training, it's hitting the gas for a sprint and coasting to recover. It's that burst of intensity that really challenges your body, revving up your metabolism and keeping the fat burning furnace hot long after you've finished working. It's interval training, but for walks, and trust me, it is a total game changer. I still want you to get a minimum of 9,000 steps and then slowly build up to that 15,000 steps. So I've got you. Here's a 4-week simple plan to get you started. So in week 1, hit 9,000 steps or do 2 30-minute Japanese walking techniques. That's just an hour daily to kickstart your fat burning engine. Week 2, bump the 9,000 to 11,000 steps or 2.5 IWT sessions. You're starting to feel the burn and your body's loving it. So in week 3, push it to 13,000 steps or 3 Japanese walking technique sessions. This is where you're gonna start noticing your genes are feeling better. In week 4, go to 15,000 steps or 3.5 sessions. Now you're a fat burning machine and those abs will start peeking through. And this is a pro tip. If you're tight on time, wake up 30 minutes early and do at least 1 session. Let me know in the comments if you've tried the Japanese walking technique or if you're planning to. What's your step count right now? Your story might be inspiring to someone else to really take control and make the change. And I see what so many people, especially my clients, they go from burning this a week to burning this a week when they're doing this technique. Now, let's tackle the big debate. Should you do cardio or weights first in a session? I get this question all of the time, and the science is clear, but it depends on your goals. So if you're prioritizing fat loss and muscle building like we are, you want to do the weights first. A study in 2018 in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research showed that doing cardio before weights reduces your strength performance by 20%, meaning that you can't lift as heavy or push as hard, meaning you're going to not only make less or even lose 20% of your muscle mass that you could be keeping in a caloric deficit. But here's my hack to make it even simpler for you. You don't need to do cardio, just move more during the day. So for example, just remember this ratio. 10 minutes of walking is 1,000 steps. A massive 2017 study by Nature tracked over 700,000 people over 111 countries, and it showed that the average step count is 4,774. They tracked everyone's device. Now let's just call that 5,000 steps. So this is how to get another 5,000. When you wake up, while your coffee's maybe brewing in the morning, go outside and walk up and down your street just for 10 minutes. And this is a pro tip. Invest in a walking pad. You can get them on Amazon. They cost about $200. That's the equivalent of you just skipping 4 fast food meals in the month. It's literally the cheapest and the best investment you can make in your health. So 10 minutes of walking in the morning, you're gonna get 6,000. Park your car a few blocks away from work. This is equal to a 10-minute walk. So walking to work from your car and back to your car, 10 minutes there, 10 minutes back, that's another 2,000 steps, which brings us to a total of 8,000. Get to the gym. Instead of doing a warm-up, walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes. Now you're at 9,000. During your workout, you usually have a minimum of 5 workouts with 4 sets per workout, which is equal to 20 total sets. Between each set, you need to rest 60 seconds, right? Minimum, which means you have 20 minutes of resting. So instead of sitting on a bench, texting, walk. So 20 minutes of walking between sets is equal to another 2,000 steps in your workout. Now we're at 11,000 post-workout. I want you to warm down for 10 minutes on the treadmill, 12,000 steps. Get home, clean around the house, help the wife, help the kids, prepare the clothes for the next day, organize the kids. That's at least 10 minutes where you're at 13,000 steps. So instead of sitting on the sofa, spending time with your family, go on a walk outside together for 20 minutes in the afternoon and talk there, and boom, you're at 15,000 steps. The point I'm making is this: you need to learn to make this a lifestyle. Get your cardio through the Japanese walking technique. This way, you're burning fat without taxing your body before a lifting session. When I prepped for my last show, I walked 15,000 steps daily, and it saved myself so much time. And the results? I got shredded in 90 days and my energy was through the roof. Look at my client Don, a business owner with over 30 employees. My client Malik, he's a pilot for Delta. He's in flights, he's on the plane and airports all the time. And he was able to do this with walking. Harry, he's in tech, sits at a desk all day, and he did it. So did Donnie, so did Tori, so did Sandra. So why not you? Look at my client Nick. He did this in just 4 weeks of walking 15,000 steps. Belly fat gone. He used the same tricks that I just shared with you and his results were unbelievable. And if you have to combine cardio and weights in one session, do 30 minutes of IWT, the Japanese technique, after your weight training session to finish strong. And ladies and gentlemen, yes, I know looking good shirtless or in a bikini is amazing, but you just don't want to lose weight and get that skinny fat look. If you're skipping weights because you think cardio is enough, you're leaving a massive fat burning tool on the table. You may be asking, why are weights so critical? So first, building muscle will boost your basal metabolic rate, your BMR, which accounts for 70% of all the energy you burn, your daily energy expenditure, also called your TDEE. Muscle burns more calories at rest than fat, about 6 to 10 calories per pound in muscle versus 2 to 3 calories for fat. That means the more muscle you build, the more calories you burn in a 24/7 period when you're just Netflix and chilling. Even more important, weight training preserves muscle while you're in a caloric deficit. So you're losing fat, not your hard-earned gains. And I've seen this with so many people who make the mistake when they crash diet and at the end, they look skinny fat. Trust me, you don't want to be that person. And this is extremely important if you're over 40 years old. The muscle building improves your testosterone in men and your estrogen in women, which is a missing key to fat loss for a lot of you. But I'm gonna touch on this more at the end of the video. Now, let's talk about the other half of this equation, weight training. Weights aren't just for bodybuilders, they're for anyone who wants to burn fat fast and keep it off. And I've used this with my clients like Malik, who went from 30% to 10% body fat, and even my own sister, who built her hourglass physique in 90 days. A 2021 study in sports medicine found that resistance training can increase BMR up to 15% in trained individuals. Now, I'm not just gonna leave you there with a good reasons to train and not give you a plan, right? So in the description of this video, I'm gonna give you a PDF. It's for free. In there is gonna be a 3-day, 4-day, 5-day training plan. I'm gonna give you that walking technique cheat code that I just told you about. Not only that, I'm gonna give you a 21-page recipe. I just want you to win. All I ask for you to do in return is just subscribe and like. What's awesome is you can print it out and you can just start your journey right now. That's what I want you to do. And we've tackled the first part of the equation. That is step 1 in the automatic rules. But we all know that abs are made in the kitchen. So let's go into step 2. I'm sure you've all heard about the good old calorie deficit, meaning you need to be eating less calories than your body burns. But the biggest mistake people make is starving themselves and eating healthy. What if I told you you could eat a burger every day and that's healthy and you can lose fat? And I'm gonna prove that to you with science. So follow along with everything I'm about to do and just copy me. Meet Sarah, 32-year-old mom of 2. She's a business owner. She's crunched for time, but she's ready to transform her body and get lean. She's 150 pounds, 5'6", and she's lightly active because she trains 3 times per week. I want her to be in a standard 20% caloric deficit. I want her to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. And what you can do is I want her fat to carb split to be 44%. So again, age 32 years old, height 66 inches at 5'6". Her body fat percentage 35%, activity level lightly active, and her goal is cutting. Sarah's maintenance calories are about 1,936 per day. This means if she eats 1,936 calories, she'll stay at her current weight. To lose fat, we need to create a caloric deficit. So if she eats 1,550 calories, that's enough to lose about 0.77 pounds of fat per week. That's a healthy and sustainable rate for Sarah. After she adapts, we can speed this up. A 500 deficit can feel a little difficult for beginners, especially women, and it may lead to muscle loss or it may make the diet hard to stick to. So I often suggest starting with a 15 to 20% deficit. So for Sarah, 20% of that is 1,936, which is a deficit of 390 calories. So her target will be around that 1,150 calories. Now that we got Sarah's calorie target, we need to break it down into macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats to make sure that she's losing fat and not muscle and still feeling energized. So with protein, I say this all the time because it's the simple truth. Protein is the king of fat loss. It preserves muscle, it keeps you full, and it boosts your metabolism because it takes more energy to digest. It takes 6 times more than carbs and fats. And I recommend eating 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So Sarah, that's 150 grams of protein daily. The fats, you need at least 50 grams of fats per day for hormone production, brain health, and for your meals to taste amazing. Cutting fats too low can mess with your hormones, especially for women, so don't go there. Carbs fuel your workouts and fill the rest of your calorie target. This website is in the description. It will do it all for you. Just copy what I did. So these are Sarah's daily macros. 150 grams of protein, right? 1 gram per pound, 50 grams of fat, because Dr. Mike said so, and 126 grams of carbs. Simple, right? Now, remember that 21-page recipe book I gave you? Well, let's use it in real time. So for breakfast, I'm simply gonna go to the breakfast section for Sarah and I'll pick the egg whites on toast meal. So for breakfast, protein is 49.2 grams, carbohydrates at 54.3 grams, and fats at 15.1 grams. And her calories in that meal is 560 kilocalories. And what's amazing in this PDF, all the ingredients are there and the YouTube video on how to make each meal is in there. What's great about this is that the meal is high in protein, which will keep you full. It takes 15 minutes to prep. And if you're in a rush, it's easy, it's repeatable, and enjoyable. So for lunch, we need something that will feed your cells with the vitamins and minerals that it needs. Something that is great for your gut health too. How about we pick a Big Mac salad? And what I love about this meal is that you can prep it the night before and take it with you to work. Macros: protein, 45.6 grams of protein, carbohydrates, 17.7 grams, fats, 42.2 grams, total calories, 408 kilocalories, prep time, 10 minutes. And then the finale, Dr. Mike's burger, Dr. Mike's Mac, like I like to call it. Protein, 46.6 grams, carbohydrates, 34.3, fats, 16.7, total calories, 483 kilocalories. Eating this meal is so important. It makes you feel like you're not on a diet. It feels more like a lifestyle. Look at one of my clients, Jim. Look at what he said about eating the burger every day. So picking the 3 meals comes to these final macros. Protein is 141.4 grams, carbohydrates 106.3, and fats at 49.0. Total calories 1,451. So I'm sure you noticed that we're about 20 grams short in the carbohydrates and 9 grams short in protein. To fit the entire piece of the puzzle, you can just add apple as a snack, and there you go. Now these are your total macros. Protein at 141.9 grams of protein, carbohydrates 131.4, and fats 49.3. Total calories 1,546. These are extremely close to our macro targets. In a realistic world, if you're not a bodybuilder, hitting the numbers this close is fantastic. Sarah will hit her desired body fat goal. So it's okay to be slightly off, especially for the person who just wants to look good on the beach. The rule that I tell my clients that you can be off plus minus 10 grams for protein and carbs and plus minus 5 grams for fats. Between that window, here's what makes the diet sustainable: flexibility. If she wanted to hit her 150 exactly, she could have just added a bit more egg whites to her meal. A typical burger with a bun might have about 30 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs, and 20 grams of fat, which is roughly 410 calories. Sarah can swap it for, say, the lunch meal and adjust her meals slightly and still hit her macros. This isn't about deprivation, it's about being smart. And my clients eat pizzas and ice creams and sushi and still get shredded and fit it all into their macro targets. But I'll give you the same advice that I always give my clients. Make your favorite foods at home. This way, you have full control of your macros and your caloric intake. But before we continue, if you feel like you've gotten everything you need to finally burn fat fast, I want you to comment, you have to watch till the end. Because people are gonna miss this sauce because they didn't watch till the end. There's literally a free guide that some people may have missed because they didn't watch this far. So do comment down below, watch till the end. So we crushed it with step 1 and step 2. How about we go into automatic rule 3? Because you always need a good tape to bow and wrap your best Christmas presents, right? But here's how we tie it all together. Step 3, recovery. First up, I cannot talk about recovery without talking about sleep. If you're skipping this, you're sabotaging your fat loss results. A 2019 study in Sleep Journal showed that poor sleep quality piles up visceral fat. That's that toxic sludge on all of your organs that ups the risk of diabetes and heart disease. Why? When you're sleep deprived, your cortisol levels spike. That's your stress hormone, telling your body to store fat, especially around the belly. It also messes up with your hunger hormones. Ghrelin goes up, the hunger hormone, making you feel hungry, and leptin drops, the satiety hormone. So now you're not feeling full. It's like your body's working against you. And I have seen this firsthand. Look at my client Kunter. He was stuck with that belly, unable to lose it no matter how hard he trained or dieted. He came to Sculpt by Science. We first prioritized the sleep. Same bedtime every time. No late night Netflix and chills, no binges. In just a month, he dropped 2 inches off of his waist, and this is him at the end of his transformation. Here's how we're gonna make your sleep your fat burning superpower. I want you to aim for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night, which actually means you need to spend 8 to 9 hours in bed. So it takes about 15 to 30 minutes to fall asleep, and consistency is key. So I want you to pick a bedtime and stick to it even on the weekends. As people, we're creatures of habit. So I want you to remember this simple 10-3-2-1 method. 10, stop drinking caffeine 10 hours before bed. This is a golden rule. So if you want to be in bed at 10 p.m., your last coffee needs to be at 11:59. Heard me? 3 hours before bed, your last meal. Even though you've eaten, you don't want your stomach and gut to be digesting. So with a 10 p.m. bedtime, that means 7 p.m. last dinner. 2 hours before bed, stop drinking fluids. If you must, just sip. So your last drink has to be at 8 p.m. for a 10 p.m. bedtime. then finally, ditch the screens an hour before bed. Blue light from your phone or your TV blocks melatonin, the hormone that helps you sleep. Keep your room temperature cool, 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. That's that 18 degrees Celsius for deep restorative sleep. Try this trick and I teach it to all my clients before bed. Do 5 minutes of deep breathing. So inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 6 seconds. This calms your nervous system and it sets you up for a solid night of sleep. Sleep isn't just rest, it's when your body repairs your muscles. It balances your hormones and it burns fat. Get it right and you're halfway to being shredded. We also need to talk about stress and cortisol. This is the silent fat gainer. Stress, we all deal with it. Work deadlines, family drama, but chronic stress is a fat loss killer. And this is why. It jacks up your cortisol levels, and cortisol loves to store fat, especially that visceral fat. A 2023 study in psychoneuroendocrinology found that mindfulness practices can slash cortisol and reduce visceral fat. So if you're stressed out, you're basically telling your body to hold on to fat. So let me explain the science on how stress can be decreased. So I want you to think of this electric panel in your home, right? With all the switches to all the lights and all the plugs. You know, the main one that has all the power supply to everything in your house? The second thing I want you to think of with stress, from now on, I call it the cortisol seesaw. In science, we call the seesaw, right, your autonomic nervous system. On one end of your seesaw, you have your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight. And on the complete opposite end of your seesaw, you have your parasympathetic nervous system, right? Which is your rest and digest. I want you to think back to that electric panel and all the tasks you have, the problems, the issues in your life. They represent the switches on these panels. The more your switches are turned on, the longer your seesaw is going to lean in the fight or flight state, meaning your stress is high. And for most people, most of your electric panels are on. Now, things balance a little when you go to sleep. Essentially, most of you are turning these switches off. And now you're more in a parasympathetic mode. And you can even see this in a cortisol chart, that your cortisol is the lowest when you sleep. So I'm sure you've noticed that even on very stressful days, sometimes it wakes you up. That's literally your subconscious flipping on these switches. To lose fat easily, you want to spend more time with your switches turned off. And meditation is literally the #1 exercise for you to learn how to switch these switches off. That's why I always say meditation is a bench press for the mind. You need to be mentally fit before you can be physically fit. But here's the good news. You can fight stress with simple, powerful tools. Spend 10 minutes a day on mindfulness, meditation, journaling, or writing down 3 things that you're grateful for. These are off switch panels. It sounds small, but it's a game changer. Stress management isn't just about feeling zen, it's about creating an environment to burn fat. And I promised you that if you're over 40, that I have a solution for you, men and women. And you might be asking, why is it so friggin' hard to lose fat the moment you turn 40? And the simple answer is 2 words. For men, testosterone. For women, it's estrogen. Research has shown that men drop a minimum of 1% of their testosterone per year from the age of 30. And like I mentioned before, testosterone has a powerful function for men. Builds muscle, burns fat, and gives you energy. So if you notice that you feel the opposite of those 3 things, now you have an idea of maybe why. And exactly the same for women. Research shows that from the age of 35, women start experiencing menopausal symptoms. Their sleep deteriorates, their weight is gaining, especially around their belly. They're feeling lower energy and so much more. Literally, my own mom and mother-in-law were experiencing this, and it's not your fault. Research also shows that women have limited knowledge on menopause before the age of 40, and they first started thinking about menopause when the symptoms began. So for men and women, tackling these 2 problems needs professional help, and that's exactly why I created Sculpt by Science. What we do in Sculpt by Science is revolutionary in psychology and science. I built my company specifically to be able to do the transformation I've done with my own mom. There are 3 levels at which we transform busy professionals. And you can imagine these levels like layers of an onion. The first layer is changing your outcomes. So this level is concerned with changing your results. So for example, you've been solely focused on losing weight and seeing the number on the scale change. Weeks have passed. You've not missed a workout with your personal trainer, you're sore everywhere, and you've followed this restrictive plan that your nutritionist or an online guru gave you, and you're starving. But deep down, when you look in the mirror, you know nothing has changed. The juice isn't just worth the squeeze. Almost like you're trapped in your body with no escape. Now, to make matters worse, you go out with your family on an innocent Sunday, you have dinner, one small meal off plan, next day you're back to square one. You gained all the weight back that you lost. You've officially gone nowhere. The second layer is changing your process. And this level is concerned with changing your systems, your recipe, your formula. These are the daily actions that you followed every day to get your desired outcome. At this level, you've seen some progress, but lost it all because it was just unsustainable. You tried the calorie counting, the keto, the intermittent fasting, low carb, carnivore, juice cleanses. The ones I see a ton right now is medications like Manjaro and Ozempic. You name it, I've seen it. Now, to some level, these work, but nothing sustainable. You've A, ballooned back and you're in a worse position, or B, you know that it's going to happen at some point. You know you're following a system that's gonna fail. The third deepest level is changing your identity. This level is concerned with changing your beliefs, your worldview, your self-image, your judgment about yourself and others. Example, eating before bed means you're going to turn that food into fat. All the pseudoscience you've been fed by unqualified trainers and gurus. And it actually makes your situation worse. All these levels of change are useful in their own way. The problem is the direction of change. Right now, you're too focused on the outcomes like the weight scale or the crazy processes that you're following. This leads to outcome-based results. You're prioritizing your physical fitness over mental. The alternative is to build identity-based results. At Sculpt by Science, our DNA sequence stands for diagnosis, nucleus, and application. It is a revolutionary 3-step system that penetrates all 3 layers of behavior change to unlock your other self and transform you into an athlete. Unlike the generic fitness plans that's wasting your time, our approach is built on medical precision, personalized systems, and identity transformation, guaranteeing that your results will be sustainable. And this is how we help busy professionals become athletic. So step number 1, diagnosis. We call this tackling the precision outcomes. So we begin with a comprehensive diagnosis, and unlike the cookie cutter plans or the online gurus who lack medical expertise, you'll have your own team of medical doctors who will run the advanced medical diagnostics. This includes DEXA scans, 100+ biomarkers, blood tests, and advanced tests like the Dutch test to test your hormones like testosterone, estrogen, and cortisol. This way, we're 100% certain what is out of range, or even gastrointestinal mapping for your gut. This allows us to understand the body at a molecular level, and this will uncover all the issues that we're unaware of. So instead of focusing on the scale, we target outcomes that matter, like boosting your testosterone for men and estrogen for women, for energy optimization, for your metabolism, for fat loss, ensuring that the results align with your unique biology. Yes, we are a premium service. We've designed this for people who want to fix their health for good, but don't have the time because of their busy careers. For most of you, you can just action all of the free advice that I gave before. Step number 2 is the nucleus, a sustainable process. From our diagnostic data, we're gonna craft your personalized nucleus. It's a streamlined set of daily actions designed to drive all the energy into streamlined focus and confidence of an elite athlete. This tailored blueprint hinges on 3 pillars. Precision health, where every bite and every supplement earns its place to fuel your body. Peak performance, with a science-driven periodized resistance training program sculpted to optimize muscle growth and hormonal balance and prime recovery. Engineered to fit your high-octane schedule. Keep your stress hormones low, unlocking your energy to lead your family and your business. And unlike the crazy diets or the punishing workouts, our system is built for performance. Step 3, is application. It's embracing your new identity. The application phase is where we unlock your other self. As a professional, you know the fastest way to get somewhere is to ask someone who's been where you want to be. We call these people coaches, consultants, mentors. We will speak with each other weekly over a call, chipping away at your new identity. We re-diagnose your progress, making precise adjustments to keep you on track. Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." In our mastermind calls with myself every week and all of our fellow clients, you'll see the effects with your own eyes. We'll cross arms and walk the road each and every single day together until you reach your final destination. Your other self always meets you at a crossroad, and it will show you the correct path to follow. So if that sounds interesting to you and you want to know more, in the first link of this description, book a call with one of my team of medical doctors. Our objective is to be able to see how we can help, see if there is something that's underlying, and we'll definitely leave you better than how we found you. But I'll leave the video here. I hope it was helpful. I hope all of you found the answers you're looking for. Share it with a friend, because I think just even from the free PDF, it will be helpful. And if someone is having all those issues over 40 that you just heard, send this to them. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.